We don't really begin to practice until we have problems. I mean, when everything is going nicely, when you get everything you want, and that means when you get everything attachment wants, I'm in this little house in Santa Fe. Santa Fe, it's now about 2 degrees, between 2 and 10 degrees every day now. It's chilly. So I've got this lovely floor heating. Then when it's hot, I've got this nice AC, which is totally quiet. So as soon as you get too hot, what do? You put on the AC. As soon as you get too cold, you put on the heating. We just naturally do that. We're so fortunate. We have access. And when I'm hungry, I go to there. The fridge, there's always something there. So that's getting what attachment wants every second. We call that happiness. And it is. But the point is, the second I don't get what I want, the second there's a pain in the knee, the second the AC doesn't work, then we get distressed, That what goes on in our mind is the main source of whether we're happy or suffering. It's so simple. These words are so simple. We can hear them at the very beginning. You can repeat that sentence in 1 second. It's easy to memorize. But to do that job, oh my God, look how difficult it is. So that's our job. We have to learn to know the mind. So if it's true that what goes on in our mind is the main source of suffering and happiness, then we better learn to know the mind. It's pretty evident. It's pretty obvious, which means we should study the mind. We have to know the mind. We have to know what attachment is. I remember Lama Yeshe saying, I can tell you about attachment for a whole year. You'll never begin to understand it until we first, we have to study it, know the definition of it. What is it? So that we can then unpack and unravel our mind, learn to identify it. Well, the only way to stay steady in the face of problems is to identify what's going on in your mind. There's no other choice, because it's the mind that gets unsteady. It's the mind that gets upset. And this is one of the crucial points, actually. Just this morning, I was sitting there trying to do my meditation, trying to be a good nun. And I get this bit of sciatic pain in my left leg sometimes these days. I used to get a lot more. And you see it, the second it arises, what happens is aversion arises in my mind. But because we're so familiar with that aversion arising when a pain comes, when attachment doesn't get what it wants, we completely conflate the pain and the thought in the mind that interprets it, which is aversion. So that's why we get upset. Now, we think we're upset because of the pain. That's a mistake. We're not. The pain's a catalyst for the arising of aversion, and that's what's upsetting. The aversion is what is unpleasant. The aversion is what is horrible feeling.